now we can start recording. I'm just gonna run it in offline so there's just less going on.
Good morning. Hey, can you hear me? Think back. Search your memory for an image of yourself.
Okay, let's see. Name our character. Codename Shade. I am playing this game with the controller just because, oh my god, the keyboard and mouse controls of this game are awful. As per usual, our character is female. And now we get to mess with one of the best things in this game. The character creator. Seriously, this character creator is one of, if not the best character creators I've messed around with. It also has one of my favorite things, load appearance. Yeah, I'm going to load this, but I'm going to definitely change the clothes. Let's see. Yeah, okay, I'm going to go with that. Let's see, remove the sleeves. Definitely remove the gloves. I'll leave the tassels. Oh, wait, no, this one, I'm going to load one of my other appearances. Is this the one I'm running right now? Let me check the eyes. Yeah, it is. I'm going to try to avoid spending too much time in here just because of the fact I could spend all day in Code Vein's character creator. Only thing I wish there were some better hairstyles. Granted, that's a problem I also have with, oh, what's it called? God Eater. I'll go with this. Let's see. This is the Purifier mask I was going with. Are you my mummy? The masks are just for style. Yeah, this is Code Vein. The game that I know a lot of people like to call anime Dark Souls, which, while not an entirely inaccurate statement, is not an entirely fair statement, if that makes sense. Honestly, it'll make more sense as we get into the game. You know what? I think I'm gonna lose the ponytail. I mean, it also doesn't help that oh, where is it? They added stuff like this, which is, I think it's Elise is her name. To be honest, I've played classic God Eater. I've been playing only 3 on my Switch. And then they also added, oh wait, no, I have to lower the camera. There you go. the bracelets from God Eater. I wear the one from God Eater 2 just because I really like God Eater 2. Though the God Eater 3 ones, if it wasn't for the bulk of these damn things. Yeah, I I wear the God Eater bracelet just because, yeah, that's how I got into this company. Well, I've been following Bandai Namco for a while, but I'm fairly certain God Eater worked on, some of Team God Eater did work on this game. I'll get, or at least had a hand. I'll get into why as we go through. Yeah, this this tends to be the character I go with. Like, I tend to save the appearance. One thing I'm going to remove is I'm going to remove the little parts of my boots right there. There's a reason for it. Yeah. I've seen people do some crazy stuff with this character creator. Someone created fucking Optimus Prime.
Yeah, that's what you look like. Now, we can finally meet.
This game does have... This is a tutorial section for this game, and to be honest, it kind of needs it for for the weird things this game does.
We finally meet. Are you clear-headed?
No.
You will now be reborn as an immortal creature, a revenant. There are things you will need to know in your new life, so listen well. Each revenant has a different power coursing through their veins, called a blood code. The best way to learn about it is to try it for yourself.
So yeah, the game, each revenant, which is what we are, have different codes, as she said. The codes are classes. We start with the fighter code, which if you read it, I believe its full description is that it's a broken code.
That is a fighter blood code, which is excellent for combat. Each talent that a blood code bestows is known as a gift. The fighter blood code grants ever-increasing endurance.
Thank you, Cruz.
Since you also have a gift,
So, each blood code has a different set of gifts, which are basically your spells, skills. They are split into physical and spell gifts, which then break down even further into light and dark gifts. Now, this is the thing about Code Vein that I absolutely adore, is the code system.
very well.
So, okay, I'm not gonna use it right now, but because I'm gonna say a second. They don't really talk about it here, but as you use a blood code, you'll master gifts. For example, if you master adrenaline, and then you, I'll kind of get into it in a second, actually.
Yes, that
First things first, let's use that.
be warned. The effects of a gift will not work unless it is prepared in advance.
Yep.
I forgot something important. This blood comes from revenants who have forgotten themselves and turned into monsters. The Lost. You can drain Ichor from the Lost by striking them with your weapon. Remember that.
So,
These are the basics of a
Yeah.
fighter's gifts. Use and learn each of them well.
so this is a loss. These are the enemies of Code Vein. The special blood she was talking about is called Ichor. You can see that by the 16 out of 16 in the lower right. So I use adrenaline here, boost my strength, but I used a lot of blood. There's also special the best way I can describe them is their devour techniques. If you've played God Eater, you recognize it. That is the quick devour, and then you can also hold it for a charge attack. It's very much the controls of God Eater there. But this is the other thing that I think sets Code Vein apart from its Souls counterpart.
One blood code, but you are different. The blood code you once held was broken and has vanished. That has left you with infinite possibilities. You have the unique talent to change your blood code. Come, look deep within yourself.
So yeah, as she said, we do not have a blood code naturally. As it was stated, every Revenant is created with a blood code. Ours has been destroyed. So, we're now a void code, which lets us swap codes. The second one they give us is Ranger, and I'm going to talk about this really quick. As you can see, there's a huge amount of stat changes that are going on because of me switching codes. That's the thing about Code Vein. You can switch. It's more akin to the job system of Final Fantasy. You can switch on the fly. But it's more like every job. Okay, how to say this? It's a weird. Not best way to describe it for Final Fantasy fans. You are, as a character, a freelancer, and you're just activating secondary jobs. This is. If you play Octopath Traveler, it's kind of those rules, except every base job is freelancer. As you can see, we lose a lot of weight, and Weapon 2 suffers. But also, there's been a change to strength, dexterity. I'm going to talk about this really quick. Strength, dexterity, mind, willpower, vitality, and fortitude. Those are your core stats. Unlike Dark Souls, which uses a number system, Code Vein uses a grade system. So as you see, Fighter had a B+ in strength, but Ranger has a C. And so on. You can manipulate these with different gifts, which you'll be acquiring over the course of the game, because you can inherit gifts from one code to another. It's a really cool system, and honestly fixes one of the biggest problems I had with Dark Souls, which is the build system. Okay, those who have never played those games before, you usually create a build. For example, in Dark Souls, you'll create a faith build or a miracle build. Like, you'll build around what you want your main method of damage dealing to be. Code Vein doesn't have a build system per se. You can build something like, so for example, say you go through the game building yourself as a caster, but then decide, I want to switch to a fighter, I want to try something different. You just switch up your code and your gifts, and you're good to go back into the fight. You won't have to restart the game or anything like that. It prevents one of the biggest, it can prevent something like, say, bricking because you built your character so poorly. I mean, you can brick yourself in this. Well, actually, no. You can hit a wall, but then you can just rebuild yourself and break through it. You will never permanently be stuck.
That blood code is known as Ranger. Oh dear, that weapon seems to be too heavy for you. Rangers are nimble and best at fighting with light weaponry. Try switching to a bayonet.
Yeah, so as you can see, because we took a penalty to our strength now, we cannot use the Queenslayer Hammer. The Queenslayer Hammer required a strength of C. Well, C+ or above, I think. No, it's C+ or above to use it. So, because of the fact we took that penalty for switching to Ranger, we can't use it. But, we can use the bayonet. I'm also going to use this to talk about, as you see, there's a mobility stat. This is something I love about Code Vein. It tells you what kind of movement you'll have when using certain weapons. And this is the bayonet. Bayonets for days. I love this thing.
Using your blood veil will let you quickly drain ichor from the lost. In addition, this can increase the amount of ichor you can hold.
This is, I already mentioned this, Cruz. I'm going to skip past a little bit. That is the Devour system. So as you can see, instead of rolling, I basically fly. There are two types, before I talk to her, there are two types of shots you can get with every bayonet. Quick shots, which use one ichor usually, and then a hold shot. So with Queenslayer, it's a homing shot. With some, you'll get a shotgun pattern. Others, you'll get like a spread shot.
That sums up the Ranger blood code and Ranger.
Yeah, Ranger's all about speed.
Let us try one more blood code. Now, turn your gaze inward.
This is Caster.
That is what is called the Caster blood code.
Yep.
Casters possess powers like magic from a fairy tale. With it, you can use gifts to fire projectiles of blood.
Yeah, so while we're in here, we have access to the Bloodshot code.
Let's see. Try learning another gift. You can learn gifts by touching missiles. Try it yourself.
These are missiles, they're your equivalent of bonfires. But now, I'm going to use this to go over. There's a little trap here that I'm going to talk about really quick. That trap is level up. So, as I mentioned, you can acquire mastery over gifts and transfer them into other blood codes. The thing is, it's level locked. So if your level exceeds the area you're currently in, you will not gain experience for blood codes. This puts you into a state of soft lock. You can eventually overpower the enemy with numbers, but in all honesty, you want more focus on gifts. Both passive and active. So, I believe I remember correctly, the general rule of thumb is if you beat a boss, you can level up 7 times. And that should keep you in pace. They want us to pick up the Blazing Roar technique. You acquire these with, yeah, no, it wasn't.
Why not try it out?
You acquire this with Haze, equivalent of souls. Some of the core concepts is still Souls-esque. That's just gonna happen every time. A lot of the stuff right now looks kind of bad and visually. Don't base that off the stream or the recording. I did lower the settings a lot.
In addition, its power will change according to the blood veil you equip. Blood veils have different affinities for gifts. It can be complicated, but keep it in mind.
Yeah, as she mentioned, blood veils, this thing we have on our back, can affect how the gifts behave. In other words, it doesn't change. Like, for example, Bloodshot will always be that. What it changes is the damage the different gifts deal. There are 4 types of blood veils that I'll be showing them off, but they are Ogre, Hound, Ivy, and Thorn. This is Ogre. It is one of the first ones we saw for the game.
It's all quite sudden, but you picked it up, right?
Yep.
The disappearance of your blood code has left you with unique, limitless capabilities. Not only can you change blood codes, but you can acquire new ones as well. The strength of others can become your own, a talent that you alone possess. Since you are the only one who can do this, your blood is the only teacher you have.
Yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of neat stuff here that I'm going to be going over the course of the game. Code Vein is a game that I honestly adore. Like, there's just so much cool stuff in this game. I have to click out of the game really quick because I just realized this should be Code Vein. There you go. I just had to move it on the chart for OBS, not OBS, for Streamlabs. Hello.
Welcome back. Hello. How are you feeling? Don't worry, it's okay. I don't remember either. Over there.
As you can see, there are some very familiar thorns around.
It's dry, isn't it?
There are things I would love to talk about with these, but it does have some spoilers for
Go
Code
slow.
Vein. Though I do want to talk about the animation style. So the models and stuff are very similar to what we were seeing in God Eater 3.
Just a bit farther.
I believe they're both built in the Unreal 4. I mean, not Unreal 3. Not 3, 4. Yeah, it's 4. Sorry, a little tired. Yeah, I believe both games are built in the Unreal 4 engine model, and they, I believe, share modelers. Yeah, as you saw in the cutscene, our character's face has those black lines crossing them. Yeah, this is a good time to mention, we're a vampire.
It seems everyone, everywhere, is thirsty.
Oh, you have no idea.
A spring that will cure that thirst. One that weeps tears of blood. That's what they said, anyway. This way.
Uh-oh, my eyes are
It's all
changing.
right. It's all right.
Please don't bite my glove.
So, it is you.
You weren't even sure and you bit my arm?
Here. This is for you.
A new spring and a fresh source of labor. We really hit the jackpot. Get up. It's time for a bit of fun.
Girl is very confused. I will say, I love the model work in this game, though.
We're about to go hunt for blood beads. Hurry up and get ready.
You're awake then? Whoa, keep it down. Your friend just fell asleep. Let her sleep. She wore herself out. So, what happened to your masks? Forgotten about those too, have you? I'll tell you whatever you want to know, but first, go back there and put on a purifier mask.
There are reasons for these masks. We'll go over. I believe they actually go over if you talk to this guy.
Looks like the folks upstairs want you. Well, they can wait, can't they?
Yeah.
More importantly, that mask suits you. Without those things, we Revenants will join the ranks of the Lost in a flash. So be careful. So, what do you want to know? According
let's
to
get
the
some
folks out
answers.
there, it's a place to keep laborers who gather blood beads. More concisely, it's a slave pen.
Kind of figured that.
A human that died but got kicked awake again. That's what you are. A revenant. As long as your heart is intact, you'll keep coming back. But you have to drink blood or you'll become one of the lost. It's ironic. Creatures made to fight the horrors of the Great Collapse now have to fight their own fallen kin.
Fight horrors of the what? Remember that phrase, the horrors of the Great Collapse. That will be coming up a lot.
Each time we die, we lose some part of our memory, be it big or small. It's usually nothing important. You don't even notice you've forgotten. Well, your case is a little rare, I guess.
Oh, we forgot everything.
The lost are revenants who have succumbed to bloodthirst and turned into real-life monsters. If our heart is destroyed, we turn to ash. But the lost don't care if they're left with no heart. Still, it takes them a while to come back, which makes them like us revenants.
The way the Lost work and the way we work, we're not vampires. Like, it's not a magical reason that we're vampires. It's a parasite that takes root in your heart. Those affected with the BOR parasite, or the boar parasite, when killed, will come back as revenants. There was a reason the revenants were created. I know the reason, and there's been multiple theories about what's going on. But I'll talk about it later.
The air in this place has something in it that speeds up the bloodthirst. We call it miasma. The mask helps filter it out.
Bad
Mist
air.
purifies the air nearby, but it's been drying up lately, just like the blood springs. Be careful where you take off your mask, unless you want to join the Lost. If we revenants don't drink human blood, we join the Lost. But humans are scarce after the Great Collapse and all. Folks like us don't get blood, but there's something we can use in its place. Blood beads. I don't know why such a lucky thing came along, but they started appearing after the Queen frenzied and was taken down. There are some who believe that there are tears, but it doesn't matter much to us where they come from.
Who's the
Not
queen?
Everyone wakes up right away. Some are still asleep. We lose our revenants are imperfect, both as weapons and as creatures. But we were needed to fight against the horrors. The Queen was our hope for solving such problems, but... well, bringing back the dead is already stepping outside the realm of humanity. In the end, she went into a frenzy, and there was a great war involving all revenants.
That I could talk about. It's called Operation Queenslayer. We'll get more into it later, though. We do have a connection to it because how the coat were not the coat we're wearing, like my actual clothes, but the blood veil is called the Queenslayer veil.
Missile is a sort of plant that purifies miasma and renders it safe. It's one of the successes of Project Queen. Even if it withers, it can be brought back with medicine made from the Queen's blood. But there's no hope of that now. If activated missile turned up somewhere, it'd be a big help in exploration. That pretty much covers what I can teach you.
Yep. So, resources are limited. They do not have access to the Queen's blood because, well, Queen's dead. And we have some connection to it being we're wearing Queenslayer gear. But might as well get started. That was just sort of all a little lore dump. There's a lot of lore in this game, and it does involve something that I absolutely love about it, but we will be pacing it in certain ways. So, I guess I'll talk now for a switch talk from the game to talk about what, after this.
The miasma's pretty thick. Damn it! We're running out of time before the next collection. Everything's ready. Right. I'm on my way. all dried up, just like the others.
Yeah, all dried up. So there's no sense in searching with the miasma like this. Let's...
You know what these are, right?
Blood beads, right?
Yes, very good. Now I want you to search for blood beads in the tunnels ahead of here. You see, it's only a short time before the collectors come to take our levy. But once they do, I'm afraid we won't have any blood beads to give them. If we don't find some, Silva's hounds will strip the shirts right off our backs. Well, that's the long and short of it.
Why does it have to be us?
Don't ask me. The stupid levy system was Silva's idea. If you have a complaint, I suggest you take it up with him.
You lot go first. Get to work.
Don't. There's a better time and place. For now, we just have to obey.
Next!
Whoa there. You wait here with us.
Why?
You can have this one back when you return. In exchange for any blood beads you find, of course.
Basically, they're holding her over
and
our
I hear
head.
the hunter has been showing up around here lately. So make sure you don't all get killed.
You heard him. Move it!
Ouch. Hey, you okay? It looks like we can't get back up from here. We'll have to look for another way back. Oh, I'm Oliver Collins, by the way. Nice to meet you.
So, as you travel through the world of Code Vein, you always have a companion. Your current companion is Oliver. Yep, we can reset the missile whenever. This is our first weapon, a lead pipe. It is utter garbage.
Well, should we set out?
I'm not kidding. This thing is actually bad. Hey, what was that bad voice? Well, first things first. I'm gonna talk this.
Wait.
The pipe of thraldom, a simple weapon that consists of a metal pipe with a drain function. That's all it is. This is a really bad weapon, but players like to run around with it as a sort of test of skill.
A dead lost. I've never seen one before.
This is...
Dead, but they're not really dead. Just a state before they turn into real monsters. So I've heard. Sometimes it takes years for the transformation to start. So we can just leave them.
So, to talk about the... Yeah, no, I'm trying to think of how to talk about this. So, the item we picked up, Lost Shards. Lost Shards are basically the equivalent of Lost Souls back in Dark Souls. They're hard souls. Hey, the material of the game, as I mentioned in the other area, is haze. Lost Shards are just haze in a physical form. The Hammer of Thraldom is very effective, as you can see. There is the regeneration, equivalent of Estus. Basically, you use it, you can heal up. I'm just trying to master Adrenaline before I switch over to the other. I want to master Adrenaline and this HP boost before we do anything with the other codes.
Is there something good in there?
Yes, a heavy axe. This is a weapon. This is actually a pretty decent weapon. As you can see, there's already a massive jump in damage.
You see that too?
Let's keep moving.
Wooden boxes. Who stacked them here?
The other thing to talk about is, of course, as it mentioned, retrieving haze. You die, you leave a thing behind, and you gotta pick it up. There is the focus state. It, if I remember correctly, increases damage and reduces stamina cost. Or I love when you get the special camera. But, oh, hold on a second. Vayne, as opposed to, I'll be honest, Vayne, combat-wise, is a bit more like Bloodborne, I would say. It's a lot more emphasis on speed and dodging than Dark Souls tanking. Not saying you can't do that, but you can. So, we're going to talk about it. As you see, it said I mastered gifts, so let's go over to Ranger. I can't use the hammer anymore, but I can now use the hammer and the triple annihilator, which were from...
Is there something good in there?
Ooh, Lost Bayonet, yes. Which were from the fighter code. This is going to let you build a lot of interesting stuff later in the game. No, I'll just keep moving with what I got right now. As you see, triple annihilator cannot be used with bayonets. It is a weapon skill. They can only be used with certain weapons, so just pay attention to them.
Yeah, I'm fine, really. That wasn't very convincing.
No, it wasn't, man.
These masks are the old type. Hard to breathe in them. How are you doing? That girl, she's your friend, right? We should find some blood beads and go back to her, quick. Look out, above us.
That little dash ability from Ranger has been quite quickly became one of my new favorites. I never messed around with it before, but I started messing with it in my current playthrough, and I love it.
Which way do you think is better?
So yeah, there are two types of missile in the area. There's the thick missile that was down over that we can use to acquire new gifts and level up, that good stuff. But then there's rotten missile, which by purifying it, it's not enough for us to rest, but it clears up the map.
What could that be?
Let's come down here and
Is there something good?
yep, a new veil. This is Blue Hounds. So this is the introduction of Hound blood veils. If I remember correctly, Hounds tend to be heavier and better for defense. I forget exactly what the ratio for them is. Is there anything else I want here? To be honest, actually, yeah, I want Spoil Spotter. And I'm going to acquire Blazing Roar, because eventually I'm going to be switching over to this code. I mentioned before that a level up is a trap. Basically what happens is, as I mentioned, it stops the experience gain for gifts, which that is your main concern, getting gifts. Also, a little secret, drop down here.
Was here? Is there
Yep.
something good in there?
The Queenslayer Greatsword. Yeah.
You're at a disadvantage here.
Yeah, he is right. You normally would be because of the fact tight corridors, but the axe is more than enough to deal with them. And look, there's our friend, or one of the other thralls who came down here.
Didn't they pass us earlier?
Revenants. Hey, it was the kid from earlier.
Are you okay? Did you get hurt?
Hey man, you okay?
That could have gone better. I'll catch up with you in a bit. Don't worry about me. I'll be alright. Go on. You just focus on finding some blood beads, alright? That girl is waiting for you.
You can parry enemy. Whoa! What the fuck was that? This is the unique thing about the Hound Blood Veils. So instead of creating the claw like we were before, we create 2 hounds from the sleeves. I actually really do like that design. Because I can see the other one right there. Yeah, I don't know why I'm doing that attack. Ow. I guess might as well regenerate. You start with 3 regeneration slots, which is a lot less than... Honestly, it's a very low amount. Especially with stuff like this. Oh, I didn't realize I'm in a focus state. So this basically means, if I remember correctly, I won't get stun locked or anything like that. You can pretty much go, and I believe it also, if you have certain gifts, they will basically affect your stats. Ow. There we go, I finally mastered these gifts. Which now I'm going to switch to caster, but the issue is I now can't use my axe. Which means, back to the pipe! I really don't use Sonic Arrow, it's kind of useless. It's really good for chip damage, if I'm going to be honest. Also, picked up a regen extender. Use this immediately! So now, instead of having 3 uses, we now have 4 uses of the regen. And you get a free charge. Oh, come on. These guys have a chance of dropping a really good early game sword, and I want it. Just going to use my hounds. Time to feed the dogs. Come on, give me your sword. Give me your sword. I'm just not gonna get this thing. I get it like on every run, but of course, the minute I start streaming, I won't get it. Ow. Please do not poison me this early. Poison's a really nasty status effect. I mean, okay, how do I explain this? If I remember correctly, the drain rate's more akin with Toxic from Dark Souls. So, yeah, you will lose health very fast. Let's see, it should be... yeah, so this is the regen inducer. These are basically hard healing items, if I can be honest. So, yeah, no, that's telling you to level up. Don't fall for the trap. So, regen will, of course, refill if you go to a missile. Regen inducers don't. Inducers are basically going to be forcing the regen. It doesn't use anything. So, in all honesty, very good if you need an emergency heal. Ow. As you see, this enemy has a missile growing out of him. Boom! For killing an enemy with a missile growing out of them, you will fill in some more of the map. And this is Thorn. This was the last one we had access to in the demo for the game. And in all honesty, when I first started this game, this was the one I was most excited to use. Because when they first showed this off, I loved this thing. Oh, I'm angled the wrong way. Let's see, is this a... yeah, no, it's a triple shot. I'm going to kill a little bit more of these guys because I want to see if I could get the sword from them. They put enough weapons on the main path that you'll be fine if you don't get this one. I like having it. No, but I will still never turn down more lost shards. Ignore the slims. And this is Thorn. A tail spike. Oh shit, I'm out of ammo. See, ooh, old raw materials. That is actually very useful. I will not turn that down. Ow, ow. Get the fuck out of here. I like the fact that the enemies also can enter the focus state. It adds a little bit more challenge. And I'm really just not gonna get this weapon. I have like 5 of them in my other file. Wait. I thought I saw something there. It was just a glint. That or it was water. As you see, the enemy with the missile did not regenerate. He is a unique enemy. Once defeated, does not respawn. Let's heal up and let's just keep moving. For now, we're going to be pretty much relying on this bayonet until I get another weapon. Who are you and why are you fancy?
Are you a fellow explorer? It appears you're alone. I'm on my own at the moment too. I was hoping for a partner for the path ahead. What do you say? Would you mind working together? At least until we're through here? Don't worry, I'm not gonna stab you in the back. The miasma and the Lost here are enough trouble as it is.
Keep your enemies close. Oh no, keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
I'm glad to work with you.
Also at this point, I kind of need... We're going to need the backup for the room up ahead. And I believe that's a non-choice, to be honest.
That's
The stranger here has a very good one-handed sword. It's honestly an endgame tier blade. Oh shit. And this is why it's a good idea to bring the friend. One other thing I'll mention, if you don't like the look of the blood veils, there is a setting in, I believe it's in game settings, you can turn them off now. This was added in one of the updates. The only complaint I honestly have about this game is that its DLC is kind of meh. I mean, it's extra dungeons and bosses.
I think we can go up here.
So it's neat. It has some interesting mechanics and has some pretty interesting blood codes. But overall, it's kind of nothing DLC. It's not like, for example, Souls that added whole new areas with story and
We can go
lore.
down from here.
They were made DLC, but hey, got some neat weapons, got some really neat blood codes. With that, we've restored the tree.
Could that really be?
So that we've got the blood beads that we needed, so we could go back to get the girl in white.
Could you fill me in on the details later?
Yeah, he wants to know how we did that.
We're not far from the surface now.
So if you can't get the Lost to drop the Lost Broadsword,
That's
you
quite
can,
valuable.
yeah, you
Use
get
it well.
Queenslayer Blade, which is the weapon we got. Actually, I'm going to try this out. We have Queenslayer Claw and Thorn, but we don't have Queenslayer Hound. So yeah, this is the Queenslayer Blade. It's lighter than the Lost Broadsword, but weaker. I believe it also has a better drain rate, but I forget.
Watch out.
We're picking up this Venom cartridge. This guy spawns. Actually, I believe he spawns no matter what. He comes from the upper level. You notice some interactions with my character seem a little off because, well, she's shorter than supposed to be. They added a height changer in this game, and, well, you could tell certain animations were not made with the adjusted height in mind. Like opening doors.
Enemy above us. I hear.
Poise, motherfucker!
This lake was formed from a hole created by a thorn of judgment. That enemy above us.
Think this is... Yep, there we go. We've completed the map for this area.
Good. That's light from the surface.
Oh, hey, who's that? Oh, shit, the asshole's dead. Oliver, you okay, buddy? Uh-oh.
Once someone is lost, they can never come back. Cast aside their doubt.
So as you see, Oliver has become lost.
Here we go.
Ow. Come on. Up. Ooh, back up. As you see, Oliver has now fully mutated. Oh shit. Oh shit. Fall back! So as a Vivifier, it's the equivalent of a homeward bone. You'll return back to the last missile you rested at, and it will not take your haze. There is an equivalent to the dark sign. It's a stake. You stake yourself in the heart. The reason why I haven't switched back to, say, Ranger or anything is because I want to have Blazing Roar, and none of my other codes can use it yet. I just don't have the gifts to buff them to the point that they could use it. And you won't be getting that for a while. Oh, fuck. Okay, give me a second. Being called. everyone decides to call me right as I am live. Yeah, I actually got distracted and didn't talk about what this is going to be. So Code Vein's going to be our next our next long-run project now that Kingdom Hearts is coming to its end. This will be going up on YouTube right after I'm done Remind. The limit cuts are going to be going up, but since limit cuts are shorter videos, I would say, actually it's more so there's less videos, they're going to be going up on Saturdays. So let's see here. Got a little greedy there. But while he changes, I'm going to take a quick second. I'm curious. Which has better... This has better dark damage. So I'm going to use this one. So that's the thing with Oliver here. Especially after he transforms. He telegraphs his attacks. The issue is they have large AoEs and he hits like a truck. There we go. For beating him, for every boss, or most of the bosses give you a weapon. For beating him, you get Judgment's Sledgehammer.
She's all right. By the way, both of you.
All revenants must pay a levy. There are no exceptions.
Ooh, shiny.
Best to stay away from those stones. Anyone who touches them is defiled, transformed into the lost. Don't listen to their whispers.
Someone has to be sacrificed.
It's Oliver.
Without blood beads, we won't make it.
Uh-oh, eyes have shifted colors again.
Once she's settled down, let's get out of here.
Someone has to be sacrificed.
The walls of fog have risen up.
Wait, what are you...
Must touch.
Let go! It'll swallow you up!
It's all right. You can do it.
It's fitting that the arm I picked it up with has my God Eater bracelet.
What the hell?
Please, let us keep them just this once. We won't make it if you take them.
All revenants must pay a levy of blood beads. There are no exceptions. Sorry.
Daddy! Mommy!
Someone has to be sacrificed. Without blood beads, we won't make it.
The few humans that remain are under Silva's control. Wandering revenants like us are forced to hunt for blood beads or face death. Even if some revenants must be sacrificed for our survival.
Well, I guess you reap what you sow, right? Well, that's all right. What's important is that at least one of us makes it.
This is a memory echo. It's a place where lost recollections still wander. Come, let's move on. If you use that stairway, I believe it should take us back to the world outside this memory.
Is this the past of one of the lost? No. There's no way.
That is something that I love about this game, and that is when you use vestiges. You will be brought into a memory echo connected to the blood codes. So as you're completing a blood code, you're learning about the Revenant.
What the hell was that?
It was a memory, carved into that vestige by the one who left it behind.
I didn't expect that I'd get dragged into it too.
We both melted into you.
I can't believe this. What a power. Come with me. I know a spot where we can rest. I'm Louis. I'm researching blood beads. Nice to meet you.
The reason you can take off the mask here is because with the amount of missile we've activated and the fact that we just cleared up that big Revenant, not Revenant, that big Lost with Oliver, means that there is very little miasma left here. And for that, we've obtained the Berserker Core of Oliver Collins. It's got high stamina and strength, but it has very low Ichor, so you don't really get to use spells with it.
Ugly, isn't it? The red mist showed up a short time after the Queen was defeated. And when it did, it trapped everyone and everything inside, giving birth to the Society of Revenants ruled by Silva. The Jail of the Mists. As time passed, that was the name people gave to the world inside. The creatures trapped inside the miasma wander in a never-ending cycle of death and rebirth, always searching for blood beads to sustain them. Revenants need to have blood. Without it, they turn into those creatures we call the Lost. The Revenants who captured you were desperately searching for blood, terrified of losing themselves. It's a common fate these days. But ripples are beginning to form. You cleared the miasma and revitalized the blood spring. Where did you learn to do that? You've forgotten? Anything you do remember? That's unusual. Losing so much of your memory. I suppose it was the same for her. For now, just take it easy. Make yourself at home.
So welcome to the home base. While you're here, you could talk to the party members. You could bring out into the field. So we got everyone here.
You're an unfamiliar face.
Coco here sells us stuff.
His head into another pot of trouble?
Yep.
Well, it's none of my business, really. Anyway, I'm Coco, a merchant by trade. Stop by if you need anything.
She'll sell you general items.
Sorry, but I'm in the middle of taking inventory. Try me again.
She'll sell you general items.
All revenants carry some secret with them. Don't do anything funny. I'll be keeping an eye on you until this talk with Louis settles down.
Okay.
All revenants carry don't...
Nice to meet you. If Louis brought you here, there must be some reason, right? I'm Rin Murasame. I provide the back home support for all the explorers here. It's a pleasure. I've got my own reasons for why I can't go into combat with you, but I'll provide your weaponry and maintain it for you. Anyway, relax and make yourself at home.
Her story does get revealed through her blood code, much like everyone else. As you see these lights here, these talk about the fact that I have the DLC and where to find them.
There you are, the revenant that Louis sees so much potential in. I'm Davis. I go around for the provisional government as part of the investigation into the depths. Just as a warning, try not to stir up any trouble. If you do, I won't be able to do my job and, well, you get it, right?
Understandable. You've got our the girl in white right over here.
It's warm here, isn't it? Everyone wants to know more about me, but I don't know the answer to any of their questions. All I can remember is that my name is Io, and that my place is by your side. My name, I have no idea what it means. I'm not sure. It was simply decided. One does what must be done. And for me, that is my mission, to stay at your side.
And the
I was
bandages?
wounded while I was searching for you. I am not a very capable fighter.
There's more to her story. We will get to it over the course of the game. You could sit around here. You could sit around the main base. And basically, this is mostly just done for pictures. The Code Vein community loves taking pictures. We've got an enthralling magazine. There's a reason for it. The exploration goal, that's a reminder of what you need to do. Jukeboxes lets you play different music. We've got, as you see, tracks from God Eater. And we've got Code Vein and Vamp's Underworld, which is the theme for this game. You can also play the piano. I suck at it, so we're not going to do anything else with that. Back there is a hot spring. You could have conversations with the different teammates and everything over the course of the game. And also because I have the season pass, there are two things down here. One is the alternate Mia White version. She's going to be our companion. She's not really the best in the world, but she's good early game. And the Estrella Blood Code. It's kind of a make code? As you see, we are going to be taking a hit in a lot of stuff for it. But it has some pretty useful codes. Gifts. So first things first, let's equip all this. Equip Bloodshot, equip Blazing Roar, and equip Shifting Hollow. Let's quickly break up the lost shard so we have some extra haze. I want lightning spike. Let's see. Acquire gifts. I forgot about Bloodguard. So there are items you can pick up. I've been picking them up over the course of the streams, however. They're the awake items. They let you skip pretty much all the grinding process and master it. I suggest using it for if you have an older blood code and you've got, or it's a blood code you don't really, that doesn't fit your playstyle. So just keep it in mind.
And a power to revitalize blood springs, both unprecedented. Sorry, but could I get a sample of your blood? We might understand more if we analyzed it. It won't be much, just a small vial, so you won't need to worry about bloodthirst. It'll take a while to get the results. Take it easy in the room back there while you wait. I've done what I can to look into your talents, and have confirmed something surprising. Revenants have blood types that differ from those of humans. These types greatly affect a Revenant's abilities. However, your blood has no specific type, or maybe more accurately...
He's basically reinforcing what we learned earlier.
Your abilities, and the fact that you have no specific type, might be due to your being what we call a void type. You were able to gain another Revenant's power through a vestige, right? That phenomenon is unique to void types. Supposing you are a void type...
You're saying that they only exist in theory.
Don't worry. I'll get something out of it. I'm going to give you some of my blood.
What?
If my theory is correct, it should act as a medium, give my power to you. Well, here goes.
And for that, we obtained Prometheus. It's a well-balanced code for combat, but it's very fragile. What it means by that is that it has a very low defense.
They should be ready to do business now. Wep, you should take another look at them. If you've got materials, upgrade and transform them. Once you've got that settled, talk to me again.
Okay, so before we go, so yeah, Murasame will reinforce your equipment, and Coco will sell general items. They don't really have anything of note now. We don't really have any material. So instead, I'm going to talk about level up. So as you see, as I level up, all it does is increase my stamina and my HP. That's really all it does. I'm going to boost myself to level 8. And then I'm going to hold off on putting in more levels. So with that, let's hear what the plan is.
You remember that scene we witnessed at the Vestige? That kind of stuff happens every day here. Silva has taken most of the humans who survived under his protection, so Revenants are left to rely on blood beads alone to slake their unending thirst. But, well, nothing in this world lasts forever. The springs started to dry up, and so blood beads grew rarer and rarer. And the order Silva created by levying and distributing blood beads won't last much longer either. The world needs more blood beads. Only then can we strive for fairness instead of petty favoritism. That's why we've been exploring the Jail of the Mists. We're doing research to learn all we can about blood beads. But the miasma has been a real problem. It makes our thirst even worse, so our progress has stalled. Now, though, we have a glimmer of hope. Your power can clear the miasma. If you could help us... Well, you'd be drawn into a bitter conflict. Still, the truth is, we don't have a lot of hope without you.
I mean, you really...
Will you join us?
We're doomed if we do, and we're doomed if we don't. Because if we don't, we die of thirst. But if we do, we
Thanks.
run the risk of dying by revenants. Not revenants, by, well, actually, other revenants could kill us.
So, it's a done deal? Well then, from now on, you're one of us. Yakumo Shinonome. I'll be looking forward to seeing you in action.
Let's get right into it. Here's what's going on. We're studying blood beads and their springs. We want to know how and when blood springs appear, their cycles for producing beads, and the composition of the beads themselves. We've made a few discoveries. First of all, we found that there are tubes like capillaries running through the earth. We call them blood veins. And so far as we can determine, every single blood spring is located on top of one of these blood veins. Also, after comparing blood beads and blood veins, we now know that they are mostly comprised of the same substances.
In other words, we can safely assume that blood springs always form along blood veins. And we think that means there must be a source somewhere, a kind of headwaters for the blood beads. Now that we have you around to clear the miasma, we can investigate the springs and follow the blood veins. And hopefully, find the source. Right?
We want to check out the old city ruins first. Sorry for the rush, but we should head out as soon as you're ready.